This is the L2C Media Network on YouTube, and this is Sports Final with Steve the Maxman Maxley. We got a lot of sports, but we're still stunned over some breaking news. Wow, all that and a lot more, folks. We're doing sports. We're going to have fun. And here's Steve. Thank you, Harry. How you doing? And we will be getting vaccinated, by the way, in case you're wondering. We haven't been vaccinated yet, but we will be. And when we do, we'll have a nice little celebrative party, like they're having right now for the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. They've just... they're doing their show with a live audience. They're the second show in New York City to do a show with a live audience. Of course, Jimmy Fallon and The Tonight Show brought back a live audience about 4 or 5 months ago. What took them so long? Anyway, folks, we got a great program tonight as we do sports, but wow. The tongues are wagging tonight. Now, we don't have any permission to do audio yet, but when we do, we got, man, a reporter. This isn't new. This isn't sports, but we do have to do it. It is breaking news. A reporter for the Houston Fox-owned station during a live shot just announced that she had just delivered some damning evidence against Fox Corp. Now, Fox Corp are the owners of, among other things, Fox News, Fox Sports, and Fox Television, and Fox owned and operated stations. What evidence is this? We don't know, but apparently it is big enough that supposedly big that maybe the FCC might be involved. And if so, we're not going to give the reporter's name, but it'll probably be on FTV Live tomorrow and some of the other TV Insider sites. But man, if this is big, if what she has is big enough, she might have just destroyed the Fox Network, Fox News, and some owned and operated stations. Because if we recall, there was an incident happening in the late 70s dealing with the RKO General broadcast ownership. The FCC stripped that company of its broadcast licenses, but one, which was of course WOR television. But they made a deal with the city of New Jersey. The state of New Jersey. The FCC said, okay, you can keep your license on one condition. You have to move your station from New York to New Jersey, and you have to promise that you'll broadcast news from New Jersey, of New Jersey, etc. You'll never guess where they're on now. Back in New York. Why? Because, let's see, the ownership level was RKO General. Then they went to little receivership. Then Chris Kraft bought them. Then MCA Broadcasting, which at the time owned Universal, bought them. And then they were bought by what was once called News Corp. Guess what that wound up to be? News Corp split, and the media outlets or the media portion, not the newspapers and publishing, the television stations and the Fox network all went under Fox Corp. If this is big, if this is what she says is big enough, we may be seeing a repeat of the 1970s FCC situation with RKO General. Stand by. I think tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day in the land of the Murdochs, and they could be. Oh my! But let's not read anything into it yet. We'll just wait for tomorrow. But wow, there's going to be some politicians frothing at the mouth and wringing their hands like, yes, we got them. Blah. Okay, so right now we are going to do our sports show. But I thought I'd just bring that along because that just broke a few moments ago before we went on the air here. Wow. And I have a feeling tomorrow the mainstream media are going to have a field day, and so are the late night folks. But anyway, let's get on with it. Let's do what we do every night without fail, and that is, of course, sports. Sports, of course, the sports. And, of course, we begin with Major League Baseball. I'm going to take off my headset here and mess up my hair. Wow. There is no greater audience in the world than you people. And here we go. I was wrong. You see, for the last 15 months, my only audience was truly the greatest of all time. The top of the sixth inning, Oakland leads Los Angeles 8-1. Top of the seventh inning, San Francisco leads Arizona 3-2. End of the fourth inning, Minnesota over Seattle 3-1. In the top of the fifth, it is the World Series defending champion LA Dodgers over the Philadelphia Phillies 2-1. We continue. We got some final scores for you. Washington over Pittsburgh 3-2. Cleveland over Baltimore 4-3. Mets over the Chicago Cubs 5-2. Boston over Toronto 2-1. Cincinnati over Milwaukee 10-2. Detroit over Kansas City 10-3. Braves! Good old Tigers. Good old Tigers. Tampa Bay over the Chicago White Sox 5-2. St. Louis over Miami 4-2. And Colorado over San Diego 3-2. And folks, what can I say? Goes one-on-one with President Joe Biden. Stick around. Stick around, everybody. Anyway, we are here. You are there, and that was our little baseball bit. We got more. We got the minor leagues and some foreign baseball to talk about, international baseball to do. Plus, a little major announcement. We're evolving again. We'll explain that as well. Right now, let's take you over to the NBA playoffs. We have two games to talk about again. Let's give it to you. First off, the game in progress still. 8:35 left in the third. It is the LA Clippers 73, Utah Jazz 59. Final score, Atlanta 103, Philadelphia 100. By the way, LA Clippers and Utah Jazz. Utah leads the series 2-1. Philadelphia shocked, or Atlanta shocked and stunned Philadelphia 103-100. That series is now tied at 2-2. 2-2. All righty. And that was a fast Fast break of joy and horrendous happiness. And now let's give you the NHL, the lone playoff game going on. Game one of the semifinals, Montreal Canadiens and the Golden Knights of Las Vegas. It is a final. Vegas strikes first against Montreal, 4-1. Vegas leads that series 1-0. Tomorrow it is game two between the New York Islanders and the Tampa Bay Lightning, the defending Stanley Cup champion, Tampa Bay Lightning. Okay, 11:52. Wow. We had literal breaking news, and we're back doing what we do best, which is sports. So let's see. What do we do now? We go to the let's go to BBC Sport, and let's get in touch with our inner soccer. And here we go. Let's give you all the soccer stuff for a Monday night. By the way, you are 8 minutes away from welcoming Tuesday. We are so close. All right, let's rock this one. In European soccer, in Group D, the European Championship, Czech Republic over Scotland, 2-0. In Group E, Slovakia over Poland, 2-1. Spain and Sweden ended up in a goose egg tie. In the Copa America in Group A, Argentina and Chile tied at 1. Group B, Colombia over Ecuador, 1-0. Women's international friendlies, USA defeated Jamaica 4-0. Italy over Austria, 3-2. Russia over Finland, 1-0. Brazil and Canada, goose eggs. In Finland, Helsinki over Mariehamn, 1-0. Kuopio over Inter Turku, 1-0. SJK, you know what I mean? Are you down with SJK? Are you down with OTP? I don't know. SJK over Ilves, 1-0. In Norway, Tromos over Stabæk, 3-0. And nothing happening in Brazil. Series A action match postponed due to whatever reasons they had. All right, we have had football. We've had soccer. Soccer, it's called soccer. Okay, let's get back to our basic and give you some sports headlines. And speaking of baseball, oh boy, Major League Baseball's crackdown on foreign substances will ramp up on June 21st, per a report from ESPN. Though using foreign substances has long been illegal for years, pitchers have been allowed to use grip enhancers. The problem is, as the years and technology have progressed, we've learned that some of these grip enhancers are actually enhancers. The latest invention on this front is spider tack, a kind of industrial glue that sends spin rates skyrocketing. The report indicates, however, that all substances will be punished the same. Pitchers caught using foreign substances, whether spider tack, pine tar, or a sunscreen mixture, will receive a 10-game suspension. Said suspension is with pay, but 10 games for a reliever is a big loss. Starters might be able to only miss one start with creative maneuvering, though. We know who you are, don't we? Some may feel that completely banning all substances outright is an overcorrection from the league, but the ESPN report indicates the umpires believe in trying to enforce the rule. The best way is to not make them try and figure out out on the spot exactly what the substance is, and that's very fair. In light of the increased attention on the so-called sticky stuff this month, offense has ticked up while spin rates have ticked down. It's a small sample, small, and we have no way of figuring out if changes are related to weather, health, or other outside variables. Regardless, Major League Baseball is going full steam ahead here without collectively bargaining the issue with the Players Association. Ooh. We recently heard that starters will be checked at least twice, while relievers will be checked at least once, and any substances found are cause for immediate ejection. Now we learn that a 10-game suspension will be attached as well. There are some big deterrents, and the league is serious about rooting this out. We will have more on this as the days and nights become one. Okay, in NFL news, and by the way, Amazon Day is June 21st and 22nd. So all of you folks who want to buy something from Amazon, you now know what day to do it. I don't know what that means, but here we go. The 49ers surrendered multiple first-round draft picks to move up for quarterback Trey Lance in April, but not after inquiring about a potential Aaron Rodgers trade. Months later, with training camp on the horizon, Jimmy Garoppolo is the presumptive starter in San Francisco, but that doesn't mean the Niners aren't open to replacing him, even for week number 1. In a conversation with Tim Kawakami of The Athletic, Coach Kyle Shanahan admitted the team considered a Rodgers offer ahead of the draft and, adding Lance, is open to the rookie quarterback starting the 2021 season under center. Shanahan also added that it's still be really hard for any rookie quarterback to stand out that much, especially because Jimmy is a very good player who's played at a very high level. In other words, it's more likely than not that Garoppolo will open the year at quarterback because Trey's really going to have to be on it to come in and seriously push him. Wow. All right. Let's get you some NBA news as we continue to spin our own little show here. And we've only been on for 17 minutes. All right. In the NBA, the injuries just keep rolling in for the Brooklyn Nets. Midway in the second quarter of Game 5, star guard Kyrie Irving, thank you for that little musical interlude, suffered a bad-looking ankle sprain. He was able to walk to the locker room under his own power, but missed the remainder of the game after undergoing an MRI and additional tests. Nets coach Steve Nash announced that Irving will miss Game 5 with that ankle sprain and has, quote, no idea, end quote, if the guard will be able to play again this series. The injury occurred when Irving was landing after putting up a shot attempt at the basket. On his way down, Giannis Antetokounmpo came up behind him preparing to grab a rebound, but his foot was underneath Irving's landing space and caused him to come down directly on top of it. Ouch. Prior to the injury, Irving had 11 points and 5 rebounds, while the Nets and Bucks were locked in a tightly contested game. After Irving exited the game, the Bucks were able to pull away, and they ultimately came away with a 107-96 win to tie the series at 2 apiece. The Nets are now without both Irving and James Harden, the latter of which still hasn't played since the opening minutes of Game 1 of this series with a hamstring injury. That means Brooklyn will be leaning heavily on Kevin Durant, who said Brooklyn will try to stay competitive against the Bucks. Now, Nash made it clear after Sunday's loss that Irving's injury Steve Nash made it clear after Sunday's loss that Irving's injury won't impact Harden's return timeline. Quote, James is an independent case. I don't want James to be rushed back. If he's able to play next game or the game after, that's fantastic. Yay! If he's not, I don't want to rush him back and jeopardize doing something worse or making this a long-term injury. So we'll see. We'll have to take all of these things into account and evaluate them and try to make a smart decision. Irving's injury is obviously a big blow for Brooklyn, especially with Harden already sidelined, and it was certainly a big factor in the fact that the Bucks were able to walk away with a win in Game 4. Moving forward, the Nets just have to hope that Irving's injury isn't too serious and that he'll only have to be out one game, and we certainly hope the best for both teams. All right, in the National Hockey League, we start our show off with breaking news. That is bizarre, but then again, we are full of bizarreness. New York Rangers have agreed to hire Gerard Gallant as the team's next head coach, according to the New York Post, Larry Brooks. The Rangers were in the market for a new man behind the bench after the franchise fired David Quinn following the 2020-2021 season. Quinn was relieved of his duties just days after the Rangers fired general manager Jeff Gorton and team president John Davidson. Both Davidson and Gorton were replaced by Chris Drury, who was previously the team's associate general manager. Gallant comes to New York following his most recent stint as the head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. The 57-year-old was the first head coach in Golden Knights history and led the franchise to the Stanley Cup Final in Vegas' inaugural season while winning the Jack Adams Award as Coach of the Year in 2017-2018. Gallant also had previous head coaching stops with the Columbus Blue Jackets and Florida Panthers. In his 9 seasons as an NHL head coach, Gallant had accumulated a .270, .216, .451 record. It's win-loss, win-loss tie, and whatever that 51 was. The former Golden Knights head coach was fired during the 2019-2020 season by the team and was replaced by fellow former Panthers coach Peter DeBoer. The Rangers finished in 5th place in the East Division with a 27-23-6 record this past season. New York currently has several building blocks on the current roster, including 2020 Hart Trophy finalist Artemi Panarin, Mika Zibanejad, and 2020 number 1 pick Alexis Lafreniere. Not bad, eh? All right. In some NFL news, New England Patriots star cornerback Stephon Gilmore was reportedly absent as the team started mandatory minicamp this week, and there could be a couple of reasons why. For one, he's still rehabbing from a partially torn quad. But in the other, wants a new contract. Gilmore, who turns 31 in September, is entering the final year of his contract, which pays him just $7 million in base salary for the season, according to the NFL Network's Mike Garafolo. Gilmore will indeed sit out for the team's entire minicamp. Trade rumors have constantly swirled around Gilmore for the last year, and a fellow star cornerback took to Twitter on Monday to begin the recruiting process when he realized Gilmore and New England could be headed for a breakup. Oh. On Monday morning, after Gilmore's absence was reported, Los Angeles Rams cornerback Jalen Ramsey fired off a tweet to New England's top defensive back. Ramsey also reminded Gilmore that Major League Baseball star Mookie Betts left Boston for Los Angeles and won a ring because of it. The Rams already have arguably the best defense in the league and a couple of talented quarterbacks, with Ramsey and Darius Williams. Adding Gilmore would just be icing on the cake. Now, of course, Gilmore is still under contract, so it's not like he'll have much say in if he's granted a change of scenery or where he will go. We have already seen something similar to this take place this offseason, however, as Tennessee Titans star wide receiver A.J. Brown was persistent trying to lure Julio Jones to Nashville, something that eventually did get blessed. Additionally, a trade isn't likely if Gilmore is still recovering from his quad injury. It's too early to tell if the Patriots will be able to mend this relationship, but the ongoing situation with Gilmore will be something everyone's going to monitor, including us. And college football in the news as we draw closer to their new season. For the 6th time in the year, Luke McCaffrey has a new transfer destination. The now former Louisville quarterback announced on his Twitter on Monday that he would be transferring to Rice to restart his journey toward a starting quarterback, to be a starting quarterback. The news came less than a week after Cardinals coach Scott Satterfield confirmed McCaffrey had left the program. Now, McCaffrey's transfer to the Owls will mark his 3rd program in less than a year. He began his career at Nebraska, appeared in 7 games, started 2 as a redshirt freshman in 2020. He split time with veteran Adrian Martinez and threw for 466 yards and 1 touchdown. He rushed for 364 yards and added 3 more scores on the ground. His first career start came on November 14th against Penn State in a 30-23 win. The following week, he threw 3 picks in a 41-23 loss to Illinois. He then became one of multiple Nebraska players to enter the infamous transfer portal in January, announcing a month later that he would be moving on to Louisville. He was expected to compete with incumbent starter Malik Cunningham this offseason for the starting job ahead of the team's Week 1 game against Ole Miss. Now, according to Satterfield, McCaffrey informed him of his decision to transfer after it became clear he would not be the starter. Rice, meanwhile, is looking for a new quarterback after the departure of Mike Collins. The younger brother of Carolina Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey and son of former NFL great Ed McCaffrey, Luke was a 4-star prospect in the 24/7 Sport Composite rankings, the number 257 overall player in the 2019 class and top-rated recruit coming out of Colorado that year. All righty, let's she-bop it to our favorite thing in the free world, sports media. And here we go. Let's okay, in the gambling news. That's right, we're going to talk gambling here. All right. James Holzhauer is well known in the Jeopardy world for his winnings of $264,216 on his original run and the ratings that followed and drew, and the Jeopardy, the greatest of all time, and the Chase series where he's appeared with fellow famed Jeopardy contestants Ken Jennings, Brad Rutter, and now, of course, the original chaser, the Beast. But beyond that, Holzhauer has made a career as a professional gambler, betting everything from the World Baseball Classic to, of course, NFL, Major League Baseball, and college basketball, and competing in the World Series of Poker. Now, as reported by the New York Post, Andrew Marchand, Holzhauer is joining The Athletic to write a sports betting column. That's nice. And a source confirmed to our friends at Awful Announcing said that Holzhauer's first column will debut on the site at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. And this is certainly an interesting idea. Sports betting content is something that countless media outlets are trying to get into these days, and The Athletic is no exception. And while they already have a betting vertical that includes some established sports betting writers, adding Holzhauer might be a way to get some more attention for that vertical. It might drive some new signups, which is really that company's key goal at the moment. And Holzhauer certainly is a notable personality. Between his social media presence, he has more than 250,000 Twitter followers and his past TV appearances. We'll keep you updated and see how things are going for Holzhauer and what he'll be writing about for The Athletic and how the column turns out. But, well, they're not the only things going around. WBRZ, Channel 2, the Louisiana ABC station, has, believe it or not, a channel devoted, believe it or not, to sports gambling. WBRZ 2 Plus airs some programs from the Vegas-based Vegas Sports and Information Network, or VISN, which is owned, I do believe, by DraftKings now. And it's run by Brent Musburger's brother, I think. Holstein Horst. Try Bush's sweet heat baked beans with that pop of jalapeno heat. And your regular Thursday night is a jalapeno night. Bush's makes any night beautiful. Okay, here is the story. June 9th, this was thing. Viewers in Baton Rouge, Louisiana will have access to some of Vision's most popular programming, including the numbers game hosted by Gil Alexander and primetime action hosted, of course, by Gil Alexander, LSU graduate Matt Brown, and Danielle Avare. That's right. The state of Louisiana appears to be on the verge of legalizing sports gambling. Vision isn't waiting. National Radio Network has struck a content partnership deal with WBRZ TV, Baton Rouge's ABC affiliate. It marks the first time the company has partnered with an over-the-air TV station. WBRZ Plus will carry Vision programming Monday through Saturday. Viewers in Baton Rouge will have access to some of the most popular programming on the network. They do have a video stream, including the numbers game hosted by Gil Alexander, primetime action hosted, we have already made mention. Noah Kozinsko, director of marketing at WBRC, said, "We're thrilled to bring Vision sports betting content to sports fans and soon-to-be wagering enthusiasts across the Baton Rouge market. We knew we wanted to get ahead of the legislative process and start to educate our audiences on sports betting before it kicks off here in Louisiana. We wanted to find the best in business to help introduce folks to sports betting, and there just wasn't anyone better than Vision to do it. College football fans have found ways to place wagers on their favorite teams for years. Vision founder and CEO Brian Musburger, yes, of course, we all know Brent Musburger. He's a part of the Vision family. And Brian Musburger knows the passion for sports in the SEC market is virtually unrivaled. That's what makes a partnership with WBRZ ideal. Quote, as we continue to expand our distribution footprint across the U.S., we're thrilled to be able to collaborate with innovative providers like WBRZ, who are ahead of the curve in educating our audience, having recognized the growth in this type of content, he said. Wazoopies. So that is Funsky. WBRZ, by the way, is owned and operated by the Manship family, who formerly published the Baton Rouge daily newspaper, The Advocate. So, congratulations. As I say, congratulations. All right. A little experiment. There have been some interesting MLB free streaming moves recently, including exclusive games on YouTube. There'll be 21 this year. But the next move is this coming weekend's Phillies-Giants series, which will be broadcast free nationwide on NBC streaming service Peacock and will feature a combined announcing group. These games can be seen on the Peacock free tier nationwide. They'll also be available on MLB.TV to out-of-market viewers, but they won't be on the team's normal regional sports networks, which just happen to be, if I am correct in the assumption, it's Phillies, and it's NBC Sports Philadelphia. No, I think it's Bally Sports. And the Giants game is also on Bally Sports. So Bally Sports is going to be without two of their teams. And what do they expect? Well, we got the press release for you here. Major League Baseball